I can get everyone's attention, please. Thank you so much. Good afternoon and welcome. And thank you all for joining us, both here in person and virtually. It's our pleasure to be here with you today. We've got a lot of things to discuss regarding WMU. Many of those decisions are going to be shaping our university, and I want to personally acknowledge the dedication of our board members. I thank you all, each and every one of you, for being champions of WMU. We actually even have our own lucky charm down here, Trustee Burris, with her hockey jersey on. So it's a pride. So let's begin. I mean, we have a lot to be proud of here at WMU. It's a great time to be a Bronco. And we've got great information on our Giving Day success with that, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But also, you know, we've got a national championship under our belts. But not only a source of pride on the hockey team, we also have the dance team and the skating team who took national titles. So, you know, we did well. So great time for the Bronco Nation. So, Dr. Schumann, do we have a quorum?
We do have a quorum today.
And is live stream operating?
Chair
Very
Lieutenant,
good.
getting the thumbs up, yes.
Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a board motion to accept today's agenda.
Support.
Okay, thank you. Any comments on the minutes? If not, I will take a motion to adopt those minutes.
Move to adopt the minutes.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you very much. We're just going to move right on today. We have a lot to offer. This is the final month of the academic year for a lot of you, and I know we have a lot of graduating students in the audience today, so very proud. But it also offers us an opportunity for us to reflect and honor the remarkable leadership of Dr. Edward Montgomery, the 9th president of Western Michigan University. As he prepares to close this chapter of his career and step into the next, I'd like to pause to acknowledge the depth and impact of his presidency since he took office August 1st, 2017. My appointment to this board came in 2018, allowing me the pleasure of serving most of the term with President Montgomery. His leadership has shaped our campus in many remarkable ways, both in the physical environment with our new buildings and advancing its core mission. He has aligned university priorities with the board's fiduciary responsibilities. His impact will be remembered for advancing academic excellence and student support resources, including the nationally recognized Empowering Futures grants, championing external research, creative scholarship, and advancing the critical work of students' belonging and well-being, including, which I think is very important, signing the Okanagan Charter. All these developments center on student success, which is very important at WMU. It's therefore deeply appropriate that the Student Essential Needs Program now bears his name. It will forever be known as the Montgomery Essential Needs Program. This is fitting recognition for Dr. Montgomery, who has unrelenting focus on student success throughout his presidency. President Montgomery, thank you for always keeping students at the center of your decisions. Your leadership at WMU has elevated us to educational excellence. It's defined our exceptional experience-driven learning and student success initiatives. You're going to be deeply missed, and we wish you all the best, both to you and Carrie, as you begin your next chapter. Would you please join me in a round of applause for Dr. Montgomery? At this time, I'd like to invite a series of speakers, past and present, to reflect on Dr. Montgomery and share a few brief words regarding Dr. Montgomery. So with this, I will have Trustee Emeritus Bill Johnson come to the podium to speak first, and then we'll have our shared governance partners make a few more comments.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I don't do well at podiums, and I don't do well with scripts, so Sorry, Kaylor, I'm going to go off script and just have to deal with it. And I cannot believe how quick that 8 years has gone. And I was able to be with Dr. Montgomery and Carrie the other night, and I was saying, being a university president is a lot like being a parent. Sometimes the days are very long, but the years go by quickly. I'm honored to be here today to have some reflection about these past 8 years. It was in 2017, as I was a trustee, that I was asked to chair the search committee for our next and ninth president, only ninth president since 1903. Then I was thinking about that and saying, gosh, 9 presidents. I have had the opportunity to work with and be associated with 5 of those, and then 2 others before that when I was a student, both undergraduate and graduate. I said, what does that mean? It means that I'm old. But I have really enjoyed that relationship with the presidents of Western Michigan University and certainly with Dr. Montgomery. And upon reflecting about that, I know that each one of them have contributed and had their input on this university in special ways that really were unique and special to their presidency at that time, but were so critically important to the growth of our university and the sustainability of our university. And so thinking about that and thinking about back to 2017 when I was asked to chair that search committee, I got a lot of advice. And some of that advice was, Bill, you should keep the committee small. Keep it small. And so Dr. Schumann and I did that, and we ended up with a search committee of 24 people. But it was intentional, and it was intentional because a university community has lots of constituents, and those constituents needed to be represented at the table on the front end, providing input on who that next leader is going to be. How is that next leader going to be selected, and the mission and vision, strategic plan, the wants, needs, and desires of Western Michigan University and all that that encompasses. Certainly students and certainly faculty and certainly administrators and certainly parents and everybody that works to provide that special experience of being a student at Western Michigan University, and the communities, our alums, over 200,000 alums in the state of Michigan alone, and the communities in which we live. Kalamazoo County with 375,000 people, the 7-county region that surrounds us with over 1 million people, the city of Kalamazoo. So Southwest Michigan, Michigan, the constituents need to be represented, and so we did. We had 24 people who raised their hand and said, yes, we will be a part of that search process. And then we began with 17 listening sessions throughout all of those constituencies that included over 600 people attending physically, and then many more virtually, in providing their input on what that next university president should be. And then engaging with AGB, the Association of Governing Boards, to help us synthesize that information and then select a search firm that would go out and recruit and bring candidates for us. And one of the things that we did in developing that profile was to say that what all of that input said is that we wanted a president that was an academic, who had research background and had university background, had been in higher education in leadership roles as a dean, had worked in public policy, and understood the politics and the financial politics of higher education in the state. And so that was, and then aligning that profile with the strategic plan of Western Michigan University. And so we gave that search firm a big task. And they went out and they recruited and selected candidates, and then the search committee went to work. And what I can tell you is the recommendation to the board was unanimous. Try to get 24 people to agree on anything. 24 different, unique people representing constituents of throughout our university community, and that committee came back with one unanimous decision, and that was Dr. Edward Montgomery was recommended as the next president of Western Michigan University. And you know, Dr. Montgomery and I have had some conversation about this when we were negotiating his initial contract. If I had said to, well, Ed, look, you're going to come to the state of Michigan, which has some pretty tough demographics as far as number of high school students. We have fewer high school students in the state of Michigan than ever, and the trend line doesn't look good. And more importantly, those students aren't applying to four-year colleges at the same level that they did before. And that trend line didn't look so good either. And then if I would have said to him, and I've got pretty good information ahead of the pack, that 3 years into your term, there's going to be a global pandemic. How do you like us now, Ed? And I say that to say in my reflection upon who those 9 presidents have been. Each one of them have had their challenges. Each one of those presidents have had their opportunities to provide, to take their talent, their experience, and their leadership and have to deal with the challenges while also executing on the opportunities. And as I reflect on Dr. Montgomery's tenure, the who he is was so important during those challenges. The president that I came to know well was a person that valued information, valued research, and made decisions on the basis of what was fact and not necessarily opinion. I can't tell you how many conversations we would be in, meetings we would be in, where people had plenty of opinions. But what was true and consistent is Dr. Montgomery would always, at some point, after listening very intently, would say something like, well, that's interesting. How do you come to that conclusion? How do you come to that opinion? What's the data behind that? What are the facts behind that? And then taking that mindset, and when we think about all of the changes that have occurred in our university on the physical side and in the academic, we had a campus-wide strategic plan, and we were in the throes of making significant changes to our student housing, this beautiful building, other buildings, academic buildings on campus. And Dr. Montgomery asked a question to everybody and said, how does this mesh with our strategic plan of the university? How does it meet the wants, needs, and desires of our customer, and that's our students? How is it going to impact them and the community that we want to have an extension with? How does that invite asking dozens of questions that weren't answered with the current strategic plan that we had and the campus-wide strategic plan, so we put it on pause. And as a result of that, the physical presence of our campus is entirely different and speaks to the academic need, that beauty is a silent teacher need of our campus. That welcoming concept of how does the campus look from Stadium Drive? I don't know if you remember, but before that questioning, it didn't look so good. And Stadium Drive was a place to drive by the university. Now it's a place where we can look up on the hill and see the higher education institution of our county. Many decisions along the line of how can we invest in public policy. At that time, Western Michigan University was under the burden of something called MESPERS, which was a retirement liability system in the state of Michigan that at a previous time, the state legislature decided that they didn't want to deal with. It was nearly $1 billion in liability, and they just assigned it to the universities whether we had the obligation or not. Dr. Montgomery led a coalition of 7 universities to convince the state that that really was a state obligation and not the obligation of the university. That resulted in $700 million returned to state universities, and about $130 million of that returned to or relieved of Western Michigan University. During that period of time, Dr. Montgomery was also responsible for developing priorities within the state higher education capital outlay program to bring $210 million to building buildings for student academic use on our campus. And then, most notable, was his ability to raise private dollar support to the university. $1 billion in that 8-year period of time, exceeding the rate of growth of other universities in our conference and our competitive set. $1 billion, all directed at academic program. We heard Empowering Futures. That was tied directly to his constant focus in board meetings, on retention, persistence, and graduation rate. Yes, we had to stop the decline in enrollment, and he was laser focused on that. But he was also bringing to our attention that our graduation rate was not what it should be. Our retention rate was getting in the way of our reputation. And our persistence for students was decreasing because of impediments that they faced in scholarship and internships. And so when we look at the Empowering Futures campaign, it was all wrapped around that. How do we increase persistence? How do we increase retention rate? And how do we become really competitive, known for our graduation rate? And when we look at all of those, Dr. Montgomery, all 3 of those, and it just speaks to the focus you have on the students and what is essential for their experience on the campus. Not just the physical, not just getting more resources, but then what do we do with those resources and how do we directly apply it to the students' wants, needs, and desires? So my heart is full of gratitude. I'm absolutely convinced that we selected the right person, that person who had that stellar academic experience, that person who was a researcher himself, that person who involved themselves in significant public policy decisions in large institutions, and that person that was committed first and last to students' growth, student internships, students' retention, students' persistence, and students' graduation rates. My heart is full of gratitude, sir. Every president has had their input, their impactful input on this university. I have been privileged and honored to have been associated with so many of those presidents. None stands taller or higher than you, sir. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you, Trustee Emeritus Johnston. I'd like now to call Faculty Senate President, Dr. Amy Nagel, for a few remarks.
Thank you. I came back from St. Louis with some germs and a hoarse voice, so. As president of the Faculty Senate, it's an honor and frankly a bit of a surprise to be standing here today to say a few words about President Montgomery. You see, when I was first invited to make remarks about President Montgomery's retirement, I mistakenly thought this was going to be a roast. You know, like in the spirit of Tom Brady roast. So I spent a few days preparing zingers about things like economic theory and strategic plans and SRM, and your uncanny ability to keep a straight face even during the most chaotic meetings. I even had a whole bit about your ability to answer a question without ever using notes, which frankly, as a faculty member, feels personally offensive. But then I realized that my comments would be delivered at this Board of Trustees meeting and not Comedy Central, so I thought I probably needed to pivot. So what you're about to hear now is what I could throw together after deleting 17 slides labeled Montgomery mic drops. In all seriousness, President Montgomery, your time at WMU has been marked by vision, steady leadership, and a powerful sense of mission that I think many of us have deeply appreciated, especially during the turbulence of a global pandemic, shifting landscapes in higher ed, and let's be honest, more Zoom meetings than any human should ever endure. You've helped move this university forward during some of the most challenging years in higher education, years that have tested every institution's ability to adapt, stay focused, and keep students at the center. You reminded us that WMU is not just a university, it's a community with purpose, and that purpose has only grown stronger under your leadership. From the faculty perspective, you've been a president who understood the importance of shared governance. You respected our voice, and even when it came wrapped in lengthy documents, complex proposals, or very passionate emails. You listened, you responded, and you engaged in tough conversations, and we're grateful for that. So, from one president to another, thank you for your steady leadership, your dedication to our community, and your belief in the power of higher education to transform lives. As you prepare for this next chapter, I hope retirement brings you all the things that you couldn't quite fit into your calendar these past few years. Maybe some rest, a little travel, time with loved ones, and the opportunity to attend meetings only when you want to, which I've heard is actually a thing. And now, no more jokes, unless someone else still thinks that this is a roast, in which case I've got some leftover material. Congratulations, President Montgomery, and best wishes for your well-deserved retirement. You've led with humility and wisdom, and while this may not be a roast, I hope you still feel the warmth of these sentiments. Thank you, and again, best wishes.
Thank you, Dr. Nagel. I think all of us would like to see those mic drop quotes. Next up is our Western Student Association President, Alex Kasperick.
Good afternoon. It is an honor and a privilege to recognize President Montgomery as he prepares to retire from his role at Western Michigan University. Throughout his tenure, President Montgomery has served students in many different ways and has been an ally to the Western Student Association. The first meeting he had on campus in 2017 was with the former student body president, Chiante. From the start, he respected our student government as a shared governance partner, and for that, we are grateful. President Montgomery has worked with many different student body presidents and has respected them through any problems that we have had. Throughout the years, the Western Student Association has fostered a respectful and effective relationship with President Montgomery and his team. This relationship has served thousands of students each academic year, and we genuinely appreciate President Montgomery for keeping this relationship strong. He has constantly demonstrated that students are not just part of this university, they are its heart. The Western Student Association and myself thanks President Montgomery for his dedication, leadership, and legacy that will continue to shape Western Michigan University for generations to come. Although he is retiring, the impact he has made on student life will continue to affect Broncos, whose journeys were inspired and supported by his tenure. His respect for the student voice and shared governance has helped shape the Western Student Association into an empowerment machine that represents our amazing student population. I'll always appreciate President Montgomery for showing me that talking with administrators is not that scary. On behalf of the student body at Western, thank you and congratulations on a well-earned retirement. As a recent retired president myself, be prepared that they're going to make you work even after you're done. Once a Bronco, always a Bronco. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Next, I'd like to invite Graduate Student Association President Jocelyn Medina.
Hello. On behalf of GSA, I was surprised to be invited to stand in front of you all and President Montgomery for this and wasn't really sure what to say when I got asked to make remarks. I thought to myself, what can I say to connect with someone who did such great work for an entire university? Then I quickly realized, we're both great and we're presidents. Yeah, it was pretty simple to come to those terms. Oh my gosh, why did I lose my train of thought? I just want to take a moment to highlight all the work that you did that did not go unnoticed. During your presidential term, there were many changes that you had to navigate as they happened with no heads up and no assistance in leading our campus through those changes. You stood behind our mission so that all may learn to continue the success of each student who is part of this campus. Another thing we share is that as presidents, our jobs technically didn't end. No matter where you were, being a president is 24/7, even during vacation, if necessary. Being the face of the university, which is like a city that never sleeps, it is no easy job, especially with so many external factors like a global pandemic and administration changes that are out of everyone's control that you had to navigate. I will close off by saying thank you for all the decisions that you made for our Bronco Nation to be a better place and for all the cowboy hats that you gave out. Enjoy your real vacation time now and hope that you kept one of those cowboy hats because you will be needing them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, President Medina. So let's get back. First of
Could
all,
I?
go ahead. Go right ahead.
Go
right ahead.
Sorry. Just 10 seconds. Thank you. It's not every day you get lauded by 3 presidents and a former trustee. There's an old adage that having heard all those words, my dad would be incredibly proud and my mom would actually believe it. I'm humbled. It's been a great privilege to work with a whole set of people on this campus who are absolutely amazing, from the trustees to my cabinet partners to the faculty and staff who every day put in hours and hours of incredible dedication to our shared mission around our students, and that has been an honor and a privilege to be part of that. And so all of what we've been able to accomplish over the last 8 years has been in service to that goal, and I could not have done any of it without an incredible set of people that I've been humbled to work with. And so while I'm the one getting the praise, I'm not the one who deserves the praise. It's the incredible community here at Western Michigan University who put in sweat equity on all these initiatives and really are the leaders in that. So thank you for the kind words, and my mom definitely praises you.
Thank you, President Montgomery, and all the other presidents in the audience who truly appreciate you making some farewell remarks, and certainly appreciate Trustee Emeritus Johnson coming in and providing some insight and history for a lot of you that might not have known it. So it's wonderful. But I do want to express deep gratitude to Dr. Montgomery because I think his vision and leadership has truly transformed WMU in ways that I think will continue to unfold in the future. And so we have a lot to build on. But I also, before moving on to the agenda, I wanted to make sure everyone is aware that there is a reception being held today at the Field House, 2:30 to 4:30. President Montgomery and his wife Carrie will be there. So I hope everybody can stop by, say hi, congrats, you know, bon voyage, whatever might be the case. But take that opportunity to meet and greet the president and his wife in a more informal scenario. As I mentioned before, Montgomery Essential Needs Program and Giving Day, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but I got something like fresh off the press from Dr. Schumann, who also was wearing the hat of the advancement person. So why totals are, according to the sources, totals are being confirmed. Thousands of Broncos contributed yesterday over $5.1 million. And I think it's really worth noting that the Montgomery Essential Needs is among the top designations. So it's a great honor to have that go through, in your honor on your departure. But it's really with deep gratitude that the community and everyone involved with the Broncos is recognizing this is a great place to be. So thank you all. Thanks all who contributed to make that difference. That is a substantial increase from last year, and I think we're leading a lot of the schools, because everybody had Giving Day yesterday, a lot of the schools in the state of Michigan in terms of those donations, so greatly appreciated. But let's go on. We're going to turn to our agenda. We have a special presentation today with WMU's Medieval Institute to update us on the Institute and the 60th International Congress on Medieval Studies. It's an incredible campus event bringing together thousands of medieval scholars and in person and virtually across the country. And so Dr. Montgomery is going to introduce our speakers, and then we have a couple of action items. Dr. Anderson will talk about the renaming of the Valley Hall, and then we have just a couple of contracts, the sale of the BTR parcel and some liquor licenses to approve. And then eventually I will give potentially an update on the Presidential Search Committee after that. So Dr. Montgomery, why don't you go ahead and take the lead?
Yes, thank you, Trustee Edgerton. The medieval program that we have and the medieval studies in the Congress is really a unique program. When I came to this university, actually, even before I came to this university, I had heard about Kalamazoo and the annual gathering. Partly, my dad was a historian, and he said everybody who's anybody in medieval studies is here every year at our Congress. And it's really a remarkable feat. We're world-renowned for it. We get scholars from around the globe, and it is a stimulus for the campus intellectually. It's a stimulus for the community to have the right to have everybody here. And so we are really blessed to have this program that Dr. Berholtz oversees. And they're also part of generating the next generation of students and leading us in experiential learning. And so today, I think we have Dr. Berholtz to come and talk with us about their experience along with a student, I believe.
My apologies, I just suggested sitting down, but you are on now.
And my apologies, because if anybody is following the agenda at home, they'll see that we skipped to number 9 without going to the other ones. But we will return to those comments.
All right, so good afternoon. I'm Robert Burkhofer. I'm the director of the Medieval Institute, and this is Samantha Schultz, who's one of our medieval studies students, and we're here today to tell you about the International Congress of Medieval Studies and Experiential Learning. I'm going to start with a brief overview of the Congress, and then Sam will talk about their experience with it. So the International Congress on Medieval Studies, or ICMS, is an academic conference. It's held in May every year here at WMU. It involves scholars researching the years between the 300 and 1600 CE, be it history, literature, environmental science, art, archaeology, theater, music, and many other disciplines. It is also, as Dr. Montgomery said, famous. Western is known literally all over the world for hosting the Congress. You can go to almost any country and someone there will know about WMU in Kalamazoo because of the Congress. Let's just look at it a little bit from the perspective of the numbers. Each year, more than 2,000 scholars participate here. Last year, we had attendees from every state in the country and more than 45 other countries. They participated in 486 sessions, as well as numerous meetings, gatherings, and special events, such as concerts or plays. This is the program of this year's Congress. As you can see, it is a very substantial book. It is an actual book. It's weighty. We also know from our partners, Discover Kalamazoo, from their economic impact report, as Dr. Montgomery alluded to, something like $3.5 to $4 million of business comes to Kalamazoo in the 4 days in May when we hold the Congress. Now, the Medieval Institute has a total staff of 5, including me. We can't do this by ourselves. We employ many, many students to prepare for and run this massive event. Each year, we employ more than 30, just at the Institute, 30 undergraduate and graduate students to assist us running the Congress, including things like running the registration desk so people can collect their badges and be welcomed, running our exhibits hall, assisting our exhibitors in marketing their wares. I'll say more about that in a moment. Just simple wayfinding, finding their way around the campus. And with the continuing construction of campus, that's challenging sometimes, even for people who have been here before. And also technology assistance as we've pivoted to having hybrid conference sessions. Now, I want you now to all use your imagination because you're in this room. We are actually in the center of the Medieval Congress right here, right now. It's going to happen 3 weeks from today, right here. That's because this is where we have our exhibits hall. And I want you to use your imagination, but I'll also help you. Here's the map of this year's exhibits hall in the program. As you can see, this entire room, the entire ballroom, the adjoining rooms, we have 50 different exhibitors, many different tables exhibiting their various wares, everything from new books, used books, various educational programs, but also various medieval sundries, everything from replica drinking horns to hot sauce. I'm not making that up. And it's all right here in the Student Center. And to help you imagine a little bit better, here's a picture of this very same space we're in now from last year during the exhibits hall, and you can see that these are the publishers. So that gives you a good idea of what's going on here. And what I'd like to do now is have Sam speak to you about Sam's experience in working for us last year and this year for this year's Congress.
Hello, I am Sam, and I've been a worker at the ICMS. Actually, this is my 3rd year now. I began in my junior year as a medieval studies minor in my undergrad, and I was welcomed with open arms. I was allowed to do almost everything that I wanted to do. If I had a question, somebody was really happy to answer it. I was able to work in tech support. I was providing HDMI cords. I was working the projector. I was telling people how to turn their computers on. You don't know how many times I did that. As well as working in the same exhibits hall, which is where that I got to learn a lot about the publishing opportunities that are available for a career. And that's really where I decided that that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I was able to actually network with our Teresa Whitaker at Medieval Institute Publications here on campus, and I was actually able to get a publishing internship at our own publishing company, which I greatly, greatly value, and I wish I could go back. I then also joined the AGDP Accelerated Graduate Degree Program here on campus, and I am now studying medieval studies, and I'm about to graduate in a week. And I came back to ICMS, and I was thus promoted, which is very, very common for people who come back years in a row, which is very, very helpful because you begin to learn even more skills. I was given more responsibility, I was given more authority, and I greatly appreciated being able to build upon the skills that I already had and was already learning with the ICMS. I'm coming back this year, and I am actually operating as the head of hybrid sessions, in which I will be in charge of all of the hybrid sessions in rooms like such as this, with a Zoom factor and an in-person factor, helping them run the rooms, helping them set up the rooms, making sure that nothing goes wrong. And I actually have the opportunity this year that I am also presenting a paper at the conference. So I am very grateful for the Medieval Studies program and the ICMS to give me the skills that I use in my resume, in my job search, in my interviews, and in my student life. I highly recommend anybody who has ever thought about working for ICMS to do it, and I am known to send the ICMS pamphlet to every student I have, even the students that I teach in my own class right now.
So I don't want to take up any more of your time because you have a busy agenda, but I finally just want to say that the International Congress on Medieval Studies is open to everyone in our community. Anyone who has a wmich.edu address can register for free. Registration is still open through this Sunday, April 20th, if you want to come. And if you're a Kalamazoo resident, city resident, you can register for $25 at a discounted rate. And we would welcome all of your participation. It's a fun event, but it's also a way to see world-class scholarship and build bridges with international scholars all over the world who will go back to their countries and have very fond memories of Western and Kalamazoo. So thank you very much. If there's any questions, I would take them. If you have any questions, I would take them.
Any questions, anyone?
I have a question for Sam. So the paper that you're giving at the conference, could you give us a little more information about what you'll be talking about?
Yes, I am actually giving a paper combining queer and trans studies with the study of medievalisms, which is modern adaptations of medieval concepts. And I'm also delving into game theory, working with my paper specifically about queer and trans medievalisms in a medieval-inspired video game and how that they adapt those medieval materials and what that says about their society and ours and how we use them.
Very, very interesting. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you so much. Thank you both. Thank you. Well, we will return to our agenda, and I just wanted to give a presidential search update. At this time, we are in the final stages of our presidential search. Within the last several weeks, we've had 4 candidates be on campus for confidential meetings with various stakeholders, including faculty, staff, students, deans, president's cabinet, and representatives from the collective bargaining groups, and some individuals from the greater community. So in the coming days, the board, actually next week, I shouldn't say coming days, next week, we're going to be holding a special board meeting here. Is it in this room? Yeah. Yeah, in this room to appoint our 10th president. I want to take the opportunity really to express deep gratitude to Trustees Liggins and Wood, who shepherded this whole structure and search process on behalf of the university. And I'd also like to thank all the PSAC committee members that participated. It was a tremendous amount of workload through listening sessions, as well as interviews, as well as constant meetings, and even participating here on campus in making that selection. So truly appreciate all the work of everyone putting into it. I think what we have 22 versus 20.
25.
25 versus, yeah. So we did well. Yeah. And so work did not go unnoticed. That is for sure. But anyways, I'd like to thank you very much. And hopefully all of you can attend next week when we make that appointment. And I just wanted to share that. So next I'll ask our President Montgomery, our 9th president, to share his remarks.
Thank you, Chair Edgerton. So we're all really thrilled to hear about the results of Giving Day and the thousands of donors who came out this year, both alums and others, to support programs across the campus. The essential needs is something that's near and dear to me and my wife and our family's hearts. The mission of supporting our students, our most vulnerable students, is clear. They do it amazingly well. They leverage the resources that they get and are really there when people need the money or the support the most. And so it's an honor to be associated with that effort and that continuing investment in what really can be life-changing. Having those extra dollars at the right moment is the difference between staying in school and dropping out. It's the difference between being able to stay in your apartment and having to leave it. It can be transformative. And so, again, great to be associated with that effort. And thank you for all of you who supported it with your gifts. Obviously, it's an important effort, and people gave to a whole variety of different funds that support important causes on the campus. The common theme in all of them is they all support some aspect of student success. And so this is investments by our community, by our greater community, in that shared vision of advancing student success. Western has a North Star. It's holistic, experience-driven learning, and generous contributions are enabling us to make those transformative experiences possible for future and current Broncos alike. I also want to make sure I acknowledge the great work that went into the advancement team for putting on Giving Day. Financial contributions came from across the state, the country. I heard every state, actually, we got contribution from around the world, all in just one day. That didn't happen by accident. It involved lots and lots of behind-the-scenes activity and work spanning weeks and months, planning, coordinating, and creating all of those platforms, all of those incentives, and getting out the dollar. So I really want to make sure we thank the University Advancement team. How about a round of applause for them? In addition to the generosity of the Bronco community, there's more to be proud of. As we approach the end of the academic year, I'd like to take a moment to highlight some of the faculty, staff, and students from across the campus who've demonstrated excellence. I have this little thing here that you probably have gotten an idea about, which represents our men's ice hockey team's incredible accomplishment led by head coach Pat Ferschweiler and his staff that brought us our first national championship. I believe it's the first NCAA national championships since 1965, when I was a few years old. But it's an incredible year-long journey, and I can't express our appreciation to the team, our admiration for what they've done, what the coach did, but also to the thousands and thousands of Broncos who turned out to support them. And when St. Louis, we were the home team, even though we were away, because of that turnout and because of our community. And that just says that the connection between Western and its sports athletics program is a tight one, and it's a great one, and it was great to be proud of it. So congratulations to the hockey team. But that's not our only national championship. We're also on a bit of a roll here. The WMU dance team also brought home the 2025 national championship title in Division I jazz team performance. And so congratulations to them. But we're not done again. The Bronco skating team performed at their national competition last weekend, and Abby Mumbry received 2 gold medals. So again, our student athletes are doing amazing things. But it's not just our athletics or our athletes who are at the top of the game, so is our broadcasting. Congratulations to 98.1 Wider FM Radio, our student-run radio station, for earning the Abram and Borscht Award for Best Overall Station at the 85th Annual IBS International Media Conference. In total, Wider was a finalist for 13 different awards and took top honors in categories such as Best Logo, Best College Station for audiences of more than 10,000 students, Best Celebrity or Artist Interview, etc. What an amazing program. Let's give them a round of applause. And of course, we'll have another great big day of celebration in a week, a little over a week, on Saturday, April 26th. We expect to have over 2,100 students getting bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. So students will come from 50 different countries, and this really speaks to graduation. There's a culmination of all the work of thousands of faculty and staff who put in time and effort in a whole variety of different ways to make that journey possible and to create a transformational learning environment for our students so that they could go on and have meaningful careers and a life well lived. So I hope to see you all there at graduation. It really is the best time of the year, and encourage people to come out and enjoy and be part of seeing exactly what you've accomplished. And what you've accomplished is students who now can live lives that were better than before, and they will make a difference in their communities when they go forth. Our faculty and staff have also had some incredible accomplishments individually, so I want to congratulate Dr. Angela Perez Villa, Assistant Professor of History, for receiving the American Association of Hispanics in Higher Education 2025 Early Career Award. This prestigious recognition highlights Dr. Perez Villa's impactful scholarship and her commitment to advancing knowledge. We're proud to celebrate this incredible accomplishment with her. Western's commitment to excellence is also reflected, commitment to excellence is also reflected in the service of our staff. Each semester, Make a Difference Awards recognize employees who go above and beyond. Please join me in celebrating the 2025 Spring Semi-Annual Make a Difference Award winners. They include Adriana Cardoza Reyes, Associate Director of International Accreditation and Planning, WMU Public Safety Officer Michael Lininger, and K-9 Officer Brax, Ann Matz, Business Manager Associate for WMUK Radio, Debbie Lynn Mayo, Student Success Navigator in Mercer State College, and Christine Thomas, Program Manager in the Department of Geological and Environmental Sciences. Can we thank them for their incredible accomplishments and achievements? We also want to celebrate the recipients of the WMU's Academic Advising Awards for being champions for student success. Advisors play an incredible role in the academic journey of our students, and we want to make sure that we recognize and congratulate and thank them for their work. And so this year's winners are Derek Andre, a College of Education and Human Development, the Student Choice Award, Angelina Corbett, a College of Arts and Sciences New Advisor Award, Sharon Van Dyken, College of Aviation Excellence in Academic Advising Award, and Diana Blowen, College of Arts and Sciences Service and Academic Advising Awards. Can we give them a round of applause? And just a couple of other successful things. We had a Broncos at Work event at Mont and Hummel, which was a great reminder of our impact on our region. This is a company here that is literally filled with Broncos from engineering and the business school and a variety of other shops. And so we had a chance to visit with them and catch up about all the work they're doing, impactful work on that, and talk about internships, a key passion for me, but also for our campus and creating that pipeline that keeps going. So that was a wonderful day. We also had a great day in the Capitol, in Lansing, WMU Advocacy Day, brought together students, faculty, and staff from around the campus to go and speak with our legislatures and represent Western at its best. And so those legislators always walk away impressed when they get a chance to meet our students. They are our best sales case about what they're investing in and to show them. And so thank you, everybody who participated in that, including the Office of Government Relations and their team for putting it on. Lastly, I want to celebrate the graduates of the WMU's 24-25 Academic Leadership Academy. Led by WMUX, the Office of Faculty Development, this program prepares emerging leaders to navigate the complexities of higher education through deep engagement with leadership theory, governance, budgeting, intercultural conflict, and change management. So I want to congratulate the ALA graduates. All of these individuals and the groups that we referenced in my talk right here are people who make Western a special place. They're the people who invest their sweat and their commitment and their equity and their talents in making sure that our students get the experience they deserve, a high-quality education that allows them to find their own particular individual purpose, to find their passion, and then to go on and be prepared to be active and good, engaged citizens. This place really is remarkable for having put together such a community who's committed to so that all may learn. I first learned about that when I got to the interviews, and many places have credos. This place actually lives at credos, so that all may learn. From the very beginning in 1903, when we were a normal school, this was set up because there was a belief in this community and the power of education to transform lives. There was a belief in this community that it needed to be able to reach people on this side of the state so that their children would have opportunities to grow and to prosper, and their community would have a chance to share in that. There was a commitment, as part of that, to not only serve the children of Kalamazoo, the urban environment, but also the rural environment. There was a commitment to make sure that all of the people of the region had a chance to have access to that school, that commitment, that power of education. That commitment to so all may learn has been passed down from president to president to president, from staff member to staff member to staff member, from faculty member to faculty member to faculty member. It is in the DNA of this campus, and it ain't going to change. It's not going to change going forward because it is real for this campus. This campus looks at the All May Learn as something that's in our DNA. It's where we invest our dollars. It's where we invest our time. It's how we honor our commitment to our forefathers. It's how we make sure that this institution going forward will continue to be someplace that people can be proud of. We do that, again, by welcoming people, all people, to this campus. We welcomed our first international student in 1911. 1911, we welcomed our first international student. We have over 2,100 international students today. We will continue to welcome international students and support them on their journey going forward at this campus. We have done this through investments in scholarships, through the Higgy support. We've done this, we continue to do this in today's time through legal support. We continue to do this on this campus through making sure that people can find their scholarship and giving flexibility so that they can complete their degrees. But not only international students are at the heart of the commitment so that all may learn. It means everybody, whether you're from a different geographic region, or a different race or group, whether you're from a different gender, whether you're a different sexual orientation, whether you have different political views, you name it. This is a community that's committed to making sure you, as an individual, can find a path forward to success, and that's something that I've been incredibly proud of to be associated with as a campus, is that commitment. Are we perfect? No. Is there a ways to go? Yes. But this campus that gave us Merce Tate is the campus that I would bet on continuing and being a model going forward, and a campus that's going to be a place where special people from all walks of life, from all types of diversity, from all types of backgrounds can find their particular niche and go on to have a good life. So that, I'll stop.
Appreciate it as a board and I think as a community. With that, we'd like to continue on the agenda. So Dr. Nagel, if Faculty Senate President would like one of our shared governance partners, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Edgerton. On behalf of the Western Michigan University Faculty Senate, thank you for the opportunity to address the board and update you on our activities. During the spring semester, much of the Faculty Senate Councils and Committees' annual work culminates in multiple memorandum of action being approved by the Senate and forwarded to the university administration for consideration. The Faculty Senate passed several MOA at its February, March, and April meetings. In February, MOA 2411, the Faculty Research and Creative Activities Support Fund distribution policy, was approved and has been forwarded to the administration for consideration. In March, the following MOAs were approved by the Faculty Senate and have since also gone to the administration for consideration. They are MOA 2502, which is a revision to revise the undergraduate catalog, academic policies, graduate and academic advising, graduation requirements for earning a second bachelor's degree. MOA 2504, which was to revise the undergraduate catalog, academic relations, course grades and grading system to allow credit, no credit for courses taken at an improved international institution. At the Senate's April meeting, four more MOAs were approved. MOA 2501, which is revision of military initial training credit policy. 2505, which is establishment of a standing sustainability committee within the Campus Planning and Finance Council. 2506, revision of graduate program application and credit transfers, and MOA 2507, renaming the Faculty Research and Creative Activities Support Fund and comprised programs. Additional MOAs will be coming forward at the May meeting. Those are MOA 2503, to revise the undergraduate catalog, academic policies, glossary of terms for experiential learning definition, and MOA 2508, establishing minimum credits in undergraduate majors for no minor to be required. Work of the councils and committees continues to move forward. The Centers and Institutes Committee is finalizing the details to facilitate collection of data for center and institute annual reviews. Additionally, the Academic and Information Technology Council continues to support the need for increased classroom technology support personnel, as that unit is still operating at a 60% reduction in force since the COVID-19 pandemic. The WMU Essential Studies Executive Advisory Committee is coming to the conclusion of a year-long comprehensive review of the WMU Essential Studies program, utilizing 4 years of data to develop new charges, initiatives, and revisions that will guide the ongoing growth and development of the WEST program. The Faculty Senate and Merce State College will be hosting a special event titled Advancing WMU Essential Studies Insights, Assessment, and Future Directions on April 23rd. This event will include a discussion of trends, implications, assessment, and how the results will be implemented to provide future improvements and initiatives. My apologies for my voice. Sorry about that. It's annoying to listen to, I'm sure, and I'm available to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Anyone? Nope. Thank you, Dr. Knuckle.
Thank you for
Greatly
allowing me to
appreciate the
talk
work. Now up, WSA, Alex Kasparitz.
Good afternoon, Chair Edgerton and the rest of the board, and thank you all again for letting me speak on behalf of the student body. I'm speaking to you officially as the former and retired student body president, and soon I will be introducing the current to introduce himself and say a few words. I'm happy to report that the Western Student Association has had a wonderful 2024-2025 year, as well as the entire student body. WMU does not only produce the best leaders, but also national champions. Congratulations to the hockey team, the dance team, and our ice skating team on their natties. I think my favorite WMU memory has to be sitting at the bar with my friends watching us win the championship. I genuinely think the building shook when we got that 6th score. It was crazy. The Assembly of the Western Student Association represents 225 registered student organizations. There are over 30 individuals just representing themselves, and over 500 students, unique students, have walked through our doors. So in about a classroom of about 30 students, at least one of those students have come to a WSA meeting. We allocated close to $620,000 this year and approved 587 budgets in total. We allocated money to 45% of the RSOs on campus, and our home fund, which serves as our collaborations and sponsorships account, was used 71 unique times. We also passed our constitution changes and have strengthened each aspect of WSA. We have also had and still have the pleasure of advocating for our different student populations, especially international student concerns throughout the year. The Western Student Association is set up for success, our institution is strong, and we are ready to support students for many more years to come. Being in this position has been one of the most fulfilling opportunities of my life so far, and I'm so thankful to many of the people in this room for helping me every step of the way. Thank you to the board for listening to me, and thank you Trustee Liggins and Trustee Wood for having me on the Presidential Search Committee. These experiences have led me to my true passion, which is serving students. I'm excited to continue my master's here next year and become a student affairs professional in the future. And that is it for me. So I am honored and excited to welcome for the first time Student Body President Luke Kritzman.
Good afternoon to Chair Edgerton and the rest of the board. My name is Luke Kritzman, and I'm a junior studying piano performance. I've had the privilege to be the student body vice president under Alex Kasparzak, and now I'm excited to be standing up here today also as the newly sworn-in student body president for the 25-26 academic year. To finish off our full executive board, it includes Vice President Grace Anderson, who majors in public history and minors in environmental and sustainability science studies. She was also the director for sustainability for the Western Student Association. We have Chief of Executive Operations Caden Jarsma, who is majoring in psychology, and our Chief of Finance Bailey McPhillips, who is here today. Hi, Bailey. And is with a double bachelor's in political science and finance, as well as minors in communication and general business. When I was running for this position, we called it Empower WMU, in which Empower was an acronym with each letter for a different aspect of something we saw necessary for a vibrant campus community. E stands for Elevate, in which we want to put all of our work into focusing on students, incorporating diverse perspectives and ideas for our projects and day-to-day operations. M stands for Meaning, where every student here deserves to have their voices heard and concerns addressed in order to find a sense of belonging at WMU. We, as WSA, will make sure that our core values are connected to our projects, bettering the student body and emboldening the passions and talents of our students. P stands for Partnerships. With the recent constitution changes we also went through, we've created the position of the Executive Officer for Community Involvement, which will allow for more collaborations between the Bronco community and the overall Kalamazoo community. O is for outreach. When it comes to WSA, we need to do everything that we can to ensure that we serve the student body. This means that it's on us to make sure that we are going out to campus instead of hoping that people might come to us. W is for wellness. Students deserve to have a safe and healthy environment in which they can learn and thrive socially and emotionally, as well as to connect and be proud of their identities and communities, allowing for a deeper connection to themselves and to WMU. We need to make sure that every student knows that they are welcome here and that we will do anything to make sure that they know this and that they feel this. As well for wellness, we are pushing for more planetary wellness and supporting sustainability procedures in any way possible in adherence to our strategic plan. The second E is for engage. As WSA, we've seen record-breaking engagement in WSA, and this is going to be a task to maintain and even to grow upon. And this also doesn't go one way. With more people engaging with us, it also means that we need to make sure that we are engaging with everyone else, not just secluding ourselves into this tight bubble. And finally, we have represent. The student body president is the voice of the student body, and it is essential that all students are heard and valued. We as WSA promise that we are a safe space and listening ears for everyone, regardless of background or belief. As WMU stated in their commitment to diversity and inclusion published in 2017, this institution is a beacon, a place where every individual is recognized as a valued member of our campus community and treated with respect. Every student deserves this respect, and we will ensure that everyone is heard and fought for. In closing, our team has an immense love and passion for this university. We wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't care about our fellow Broncos. We are ready to start the work that will empower WMU and to serve the student body well for this following academic year. I look forward to working together as shared governance partners. Thank you, and onward for the brown and gold.
Thank you very much, Luke, and welcome. Congratulations. Jocelyn Medina, President of GSA. Thank you.
It's me again. Good afternoon officially to the chair, board, and all others in attendance. In the GSA world, things have been nonstop and for a great reason. As part of GSA, we have our GFAC system, which is where we allocate money to those attending conferences or applying for licenses. For the 24-25 academic year, we gave around $10,000 to RSOs for programming, about $10,000 for those looking for certificates, about $2,000 for data collection, and around something just fell, and I don't know what it was. And around $38,000 for those attending conferences, both in and out of state, totaling $60,000 in money that was allocated to students. Can we please get a round of applause for those individuals that were part of the GFAC committee to help assist with all the applications that came through and they deliberated on? As I said, we are finishing off this year extremely strong, and a newly elected board actually just came in hot last night with an incredibly strong foundation that my team and I were able to build again. With countless General Assembly meetings, collaborations with other orgs on campus, and community and other community members here on campus, I understand how hard the foundational work was, but without my team, we wouldn't have been able to do it. As a graduate student, I quickly realized that we needed an entity for students by students. I am proud to say that my board and I followed the same mission, which is what assisted us in staying united and helped us continue with reestablishing our relationships with departments and offices on campus. With all of this in mind, I acknowledge and appreciate our big demographic of international students as part of GSA. While I recognize the notice that was sent out regarding the unfortunate events that have deeply affected our international students on campus, but the reality is that this is only the beginning. I know Western prides themselves on all the brilliant and amazing international students that we have on campus that make up part of our Bronco family, but we need to continue being proactive. I understand that we are only a week away from the semester ending, but the fear in the students' lives doesn't stop there. Many of us get to enjoy summer, while those who walk alongside us right now and are sitting in our classrooms don't know when their dreams will be swept from under their feet. While I am not an international student, I am someone who has lived in the shadows my entire life. So take a look at me. What are you willing to do to keep me and my peers safe? I urge the board to stay diligent and standing against and strong against administrative changes, and don't forget that just because it's not you right now being targeted doesn't mean it can't be you. Remember, when our students graduate, they won't remember what they learned, or maybe they will, but they will remember if WMU felt like home and who advocated for them during these unpleasant and unknown times. As a first-generation Latina, I'm extremely honored to have been the graduate student representative for the 24-25 year and appreciate all those that I met along the way. Thank you. I'm signing off.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Any questions, comments for Jocelyn? No, okay. I want to thank both Alex and Jocelyn for their tremendous work as our shared governance partners. I know they're graduating, and hopefully we'll still be familiar faces in the coming years and the work that they do. But we certainly appreciate the new incoming teams for both organizations, Luke, and I'm not sure the announced name of the GSA, but certainly appreciate everyone's work and look forward to working with them in the coming years. So it's with that. Dr. Schumann, any public comments at this point?
Chair Edgerton, while we do not have any public speakers for action items, we did have 14 sign up for public comments at the end.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to hearing that. First action item, Dr. Diane Anderson to discuss the naming of the New Valley residents.
Good afternoon, Chair Edgerton, fellow board members and colleagues and students. Great to see everybody here today. The recommended name for the New Valley Housing Project is the Golden Oaks. The complex, situated on the former Valley 3 site, consists of 691 units, housing up to 1,018 residents, and is intended for first-year students. It is also recommended that the entire Valley housing complex, consisting of the new residence hall, Valley 2 and Valley 1, be referred to as the Valleys, because it already is, actually. The term Valleys has deep roots in our WMU community. The concept of naming the entire complex the Valleys allows us to continue that legacy while also creating varying housing concepts within that complex. The new residence hall is on the edge of campus, overlooks Valley Dining Center and Goldsworth Valley Pond, and is flanked by forested areas, including coveted oak trees. For purposes of wayfinding, the Valleys complex maintains a strong connection to an area well recognized on campus, while the name of this building, Golden Oaks, is a nod to the brown and gold and forested surroundings. We strive for housing that allows our students to draw a formal connection to Western Michigan University and further enhance community and belonging. So, as a result, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees name the New Valley Residence Hall Golden Oaks within the Valley's housing complex.
Okay. Any questions for Diane? Any questions? I will entertain a motion to adopt the name change. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Chair Edgerton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Turfy.
Yes.
Trustee Burris.
Yes.
Trustee Chen Zhang. Trustee Holdley.
Yes.
Trustee Liggins.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Wood.
Yes.
Chair Edgerton, motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Thank you, Diane. Next is the consent agenda. Just question, does anyone have anything they'd like to pull off or have discussed or further information from anyone? No? I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, roll call, Dr. Schumann?
Chair Edgerton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Turfy.
Yes.
Trustee Burris.
Yes.
Trustee Chen Zhang.
Yes.
Trustee Holdley.
Yes.
Trustee Liggins.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Wood.
Yes.
Chair Edgerton, consent items pass.
Okay, thank you. And we will now move on to public comments.
All right. Again, 14 signed up prior to the deadline yesterday. I will introduce you by first name. Again, you've got 3 minutes. I'll let you know when you've reached that point. First is Pam. Pam?
Hi, my name is Pam Wadsworth. I'm an associate professor in the Bronson School of Nursing. And I love my job. I love my students. I take my job really seriously. To me, being a nurse is a sacred commitment to humankind. But I'm really, really alarmed and stunned by what's happening on our campus, that 6 of our students have had their SEVIS removed. My international students, their families put everything into sending them here. Their communities, their families. I had a student last year whose family waited all day to have one visa. Her parents, she's the only child, to have one visa so someone could have come and attend her graduation ceremony, and they didn't get it. But she was just grateful to be able to graduate and become a nurse. I know that we received a notice yesterday. To me, it was kind of bland and meaningless. So the students that are here, the students for Justice for Palestine have made many great asks. I wish that they would be honored. I'm going to hold up 3 requests. One is that we hold regular Know Your Rights workshops here on campus for our students, faculty, staff, and community. Our community members have supported Western in so many different ways, including the recent hockey win. They're elated. We owe them something. This is the least we can do. I hope that we can offer our students some way to finish their degrees. Their lives are taken away, right? All of their hopes and dreams, their families, if it's online, if it's some other way. And then 3, to expand our financial help to them during the summer and beyond so they can get food, they can pay their rent, so they don't lose everything just because of these illegal and unwarranted removal of their rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Next, Olivia.
Hey, y'all. When I was younger and I learned about things like the Holocaust in school, I was convinced that if something like that were to happen again, we would remember the history, and we wouldn't allow that to happen. Unfortunately, every day, people who continue to stay silent, like Western's administration, have shown that you would not have said anything. You would have been too concerned with the thoughtful stewardship of your institutional voice. We have seen university students, particularly international students, being targeted by the Trump administration. 6 students at this university have had their SEVIS status revoked for seemingly no good reason. Students at other universities have been kidnapped by immigration enforcement off the street and arrested for pro-Palestine speech. For example, a student named Ramesa Ozturk was kidnapped off the street by plainclothes officers and arrested in an unmarked vehicle for writing in the school newspaper about her genocide, about the genocide of the Palestinians. These are things we can't be neutral about. These are direct attacks on free speech, and universities need to be taking a stand against this. Your criteria for messaging claims to foster free speech. How are you going to be silent when the rights you claim to hold central to this university are so clearly being stripped away? I'm not sure if you all have heard, but Harvard, which, if funny enough, is President Montgomery's alma mater, made a statement the other day rejecting demands being made by the Trump administration to combat anti-Semitism by targeting students and staff with political and ideological views, which likely means those views that go against what Israel is doing in Palestine. We're demanding that WMU join in and push back specifically against abhorrent attacks on international student rights. Neutrality on these issues is cowardice and complicity. We will be talking to you about a variety of issues today: immigration, Palestine, free speech, international students. And despite all of this, we showed up for this demonstration together to show our solidarity with each other. You cannot keep ignoring us, and we will keep showing up, and we'll keep bugging you guys until you start doing the right thing.
Thank you, Olivia. Next, Susan. Susan.
Hi, all. While preparing my comments, I reflected on Cory Booker's recent marathon speech. More than any particular stories or arguments, what's most memorable is his display of unshakable moral conviction, his deep humanity. You remember, right? He objected to the chaos, treachery, and threats of our moment. He stood up, quite literally, 25 hours, for what he loves. These are not normal times, Senator Booker repeatedly recited. In the midst of a full-on political catastrophe, in these not normal times, it is decidedly not a moment for caution. We do not want to hear that you are monitoring the situation, which is a favorite WMU talking point of late. Monitoring is not what we need. Look how many are gathered here today in solidarity. We belong to a larger movement, people infuriated by public officials and their neutrality and timidity. We reject quiet resistance while our planet burns, while ICE terrorizes migrant communities, and while support evaporates for public higher education, research, social services, and humanitarian aid. We, and I implore you to be among the we, refuse to comply with tyranny. So, trustees and administrators, I ask you, where is your full-throated defense of higher education? Where is your courage? How are you listening to your vulnerable community members and responding to their needs? As stewards of this university, will you agree that under your watch, Western will not submit to federal interference with our educational mission or comply with illegal and unconstitutional mandates? That WMU will not adopt the doublespeak of weaponized anti-Semitism in Executive Order 13899 and anti-discrimination law. And that Western will not continue to invest in companies profiting from the genocide in Gaza. And that under your leadership, the university will vociferously defend free speech rights and refuse to surveil and report on dissent. And tell us you're doing this. That you will affirm a commitment to knowledge production, science, truth-telling, and critical thinking by both joining lawsuits and pursuing further efforts to restore funding for canceled research programs and those under threat. The tepidness of university response to the crisis has already caused harm. To reverse course, we insist that you, number one, take steps to prioritize the safety of community members targeted for deportation, even if, God forbid, they have a traffic violation on their record. Second, subsidize legal aid and assist with basic housing and other needs for international students under threat and potentially unable to leave the country. And three, eliminate all obstacles to degree completion for students in active collaboration with faculty and staff mentors so that anyone who is in a position of having to self-deport, be removed, or find themselves unable to re-enter the U.S. after trying to go home can be a proud graduate of our university. I have a few words to close. From Senator Booker, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And from a brilliant sign by one of our students demonstrating on Tuesday in support of a student who lost their service status, don't be muted, Dr. Montgomery. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Next, Don.
Good afternoon. I'm here as all of these people, these wonderful students, wonderful faculty, wonderful people from the community, to speak to you about Gaza. I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch the news program 60 Minutes a week and a half ago. On that program, they showed a doctor from Northwestern who was doing his 4th volunteer term at a hospital in Gaza. And he described how when a bomb would go off, 50 people would come running into the hospital in desperate conditions, and they would have so little medicine. He described a young kid coming in and his insides coming out, and he knew that he could save that kid, but he needed blood, and there was no blood, and he had to stand there and watch that kid die. He talked about a mother who came over to him and begged him, come and see my son. My son is 15 and he's so sick. And he went over with the woman, and the staff said to him, He's been dead for an hour, but his mother just won't leave him. He starved to death. There is no food in Gaza. There is no clean water. People don't have homes because their homes have been destroyed by the bombs that come from our country. Gaza is small. It's only about 25 miles long, but there are 2 million people crowded into Gaza. And already 50,000 at least have died, and probably 20,000 of them are children. It is our bombs, it is our political support that are allowing that to happen. So what will we say to the Gazans? Will we say, wow, I'm so sorry to hear about your suffering. You know, we can't really stop this war. But we do know that we could speak out. We could take our money out of the companies that provide those bombs. And maybe that won't stop the war, but maybe it'll inspire other people to stand up. And that's how it all starts. And we will say to them, but you know, we like to do that, but there's consequences. There's political consequences. There are economic consequences. What will they say to us? What will you say to these students? What will you say to your grandchildren? If we were alive and involved at the time of the Holocaust, we wish we would have stood up for them. There's another Holocaust going on, another genocide. Never again means never again for everyone.
Thank you, Don. Next, William. William?
My name is Santiago, and I'm from a country that's occupied by the American military. I'm here to comment on Montgomery's statement about public university stewardship via neutrality and its impact on academic freedom, speech informed by evidence, and the responsibility to protect students and faculty from the national and the state governments of this country. As someone educated in the tradition of African universities that existed 300 years before there were similar institutions in Europe, and also in the tradition of Latin American universities that achieved independence from the governments over 100 years ago, I'm here because of some evident shortcomings by comparison in this institution, and because there is a distinction between being an academic, being a teacher, being a professor, and being an intellectual. That needs to be made today, that distinction. Even though this distinction has existed in French, in Spanish, in Italian, and in Portuguese for over 150 years since Zola stood up for a Jew that was expelled from the French military. Howard Zinn wrote a book titled "You Can't Be Neutral on a Moving Train," especially if it's charging at your children. Which of you would counsel neutrality during slavery? Which of you would counsel neutrality during American apartheid, which exists to this day? Which of you would counsel neutrality during the mass murder of millions of Native Americans, or during the 200+ years that this country has been at war against foreign competitors? Those who profit from racialized and gendered exploitation would counsel neutrality. Those who profit from forced displacement and land theft would counsel neutrality. Those who profit from genocide and union busting, about which Montgomery's father wrote so eloquently, and those who profit from the military industry would sure as hell counsel neutrality. There are three concepts that well-meaning American liberals do not understand or get paid to avoid. One is empire, another is monopoly, and the third is the state. This declining empire, its financial monopolies that profit from your debts, and the militarization of economic and cultural decision-making. When your children can't buy a house, can't pay for food or heat, can't find medicine anywhere, or when the students whose tuition pays your salaries, the international students whose tuition pays your salaries, are deported, try and be neutral then, try to be impartial then, and try to be calm while the billionaires pass you by. Going to a university that hides behind this proposal of neutrality and focuses on the consequences or the symptoms instead of the causes won't help you at all, especially when in the next 5 years, as most American social scientists predict, there's going to be a civil war in the United States.
Thank you, William. Next, Jessica. Jessica?
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Olvera, and I am a PhD student in the mathematics department here at Western. I'm speaking today because international students, my classmates, colleagues, and friends, are living in fear. Despite this, the university has done the bare minimum to show them that they have support. The email sent out yesterday regarding federal actions affecting international students was unsettling. It mentioned that deportation is a possibility, but reassured us that, to your knowledge, no one has been deported yet. That's not reassurance. If the university can't even tell us what's happening to its students, how can it claim to protect them? We've been told that the university doesn't have full access to students' visa records, but that doesn't absolve the institution from ensuring its students feel safe and secure. The lack of transparency and explicit action only deepens the uncertainty. Silence or vague promises are not enough. International students deserve clarity, support, and concrete action from its institution. And yet they've been left to navigate this crisis alone with no more than offers of case-by-case assistance. This is not support, this is not safety, this is not the education that Western promises. The email issued yesterday did nothing more than cover the university's legal bases. While it may have been issued with good intentions, your guidelines for stewarding your institutional voice state that action should be grounded in the potential for tangible impact. And a statement without tangible impact can be seen as performative. In fact, it risks detracting from the gravity of the issue by failing to provide real solutions. We are not here for vague reassurances. We are here for real change. To create meaningful change, we are calling for the formation of a committee tasked with developing protections for international students facing visa and CVIS challenges. This committee must include students, staff, faculty, and legal experts, and it must be charged with creating a legal support network to assist students facing immigration-related threats, establishing a strict policy of non-cooperation with immigration enforcement, including limiting data sharing and protecting campus spaces, guaranteeing academic continuity and financial support for affected students, including remote study options and emergency aid. Additionally, we call for the university to join the American Civil Liberties Union of Michigan's lawsuit against the Trump administration for illegally stripping the immigration status of international students attending public universities throughout the state. Western must stand with its international students and take action to protect their rights. This is not about politics. This is about safety, support, and basic human dignity. Western promises impactful and inclusive education so that all may learn. Right now, those words are hollow. You have a choice. Live up to them, or be remembered for failing the students who needed you most. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Next, Jacinda. Is Jacinda here? Yep, thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacinda Swanson. I'm recently retired faculty from political science. Since last June, I have been begging you to divest from companies doing business in Israel because of its ongoing genocide of Palestinians, which does not make my Jewish family safer. The silence and complicity of so many universities, civic institutions, and politicians in these war crimes represents a grave moral and political crisis in this country. Given that the financial and military support for Israel is opposed by a majority of the American population, and it violates domestic and international law. But the crisis in this country has escalated dramatically since January. Immigrants and international students are being snatched from the streets, held in faraway detention facilities, and even flown to foreign countries and imprisoned in hellish prisons known for torture. Federal court orders are being ignored. Law firms and media outlets targeted and extorted. Government agencies and life-saving government services are being gutted. The military, FBI, and Justice Department are being packed with loyalists willing to ignore the law, the Constitution, and to target critics and scapegoats, such as immigrants, international students, and trans people. As much as people want to pretend it's not happening or it will blow over eventually, it's time for people in positions of power, like you all, to wake up. The time for silence, compliance, working quietly behind the scenes is over. The urge for individual institutional self-preservation is understandable. But not only is it morally bankrupt, history shows that it will not work. In the current landscape, combating the existential assault on higher education and democracy is a collective action problem. Universities must band together, along with other civic institutions and anti-authoritarian political leaders, to stand up and defend academic freedom, programs to combat racism and inequality, federal research funding, and our undocumented international Black, brown, and trans staff, students, and faculty. For example, the national AAUP has joined with local AAUP chapters, academic and industry organizations, national and local unions, local government, and local school districts to sue the federal government. Apparently, the Michigan Attorney General is ready to partner with universities such as Western to file legal challenges. Harvard has announced its refusal to comply with the federal government's authoritarian, racist, and xenophobic demands. And I echo all these specific demands for short-term action on campus.
Thank you, Jacinda. Next, Saeed.
Good afternoon. My name is Saeed Abu Bakr. I'm professor of chemical and paper engineering at Western Michigan University since 2001. I came to this country in March 1977, that's 48 years ago. And I understand the feeling of international students. The first thing, you go away from home and you're sad, you miss your family. Your family, in my case, my mother has to sell her jewelry to send me here. Your family is looking up to you, and you are far away from them. And many of international students do not have even money to go back home, visit their family during the summer vacation. The experience is difficult, but what brought us here, what brought me here 48 years ago, is the academic freedom. Is the academic freedom that we enjoy here. And as a Palestinian who lost his homeland, I understood the sadness of being away from home. To go to the topic, this morning I read an article in the Haaretz Israeli newspaper that 200 professors in Israel wrote a letter saying that the Trump administration is weaponizing anti-Semitic to shut down academic freedom and freedom of speech. If the Israeli academics say that from thousands of miles away, why are not we doing that the same here? What I would like to add, what Jewish Voice for Peace always said, protesting genocide is not anti-Semitic. Protesting killing innocent children is not anti-Semitic. Protesting killing 117 professors in Gaza, like you and me, are dead just because they are Palestinians. 10,000 students dead just because they are Palestinians. 983 college students dead because they are Palestinians. Protesting all this killing of innocent people is not anti-Semitic. My last note, please go ahead and read what the previous speaker said about practical steps to be taken to support our international students, and thank you.
Thank you, Saeed. Next, Daniel.
Hello, I'm Daniel Smith. I live in Portage. I'm a Western alumni, and I also worked here in the OIT department. And I want to add my voice to those calling on you to do more to protect students facing loss of visa or even deportation. Now is the time to make a bold public pledge to stand up against the threats by the Trump administration. State you will adopt a campus sanctuary policy to protect all students from politically motivated deportation. Provide all needed financial and legal support for students that are affected by these unjust immigration policies, and work with the campus community of international students and listen to their concerns. As a community member, I am deeply concerned about the reports of students being picked up off the street and disappeared because of their political viewpoint. As the saying goes, if they come in the morning for them, they're coming for us that night. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Next, Avery.
Good afternoon. My name is Avery. I'm the Vice President for Students for Justice in Palestine here at Western Michigan University, as well as an organizer with the Western Michigan University Solidarity Coalition. In the spring of 2024, as the VP for Students for Justice in Palestine, which at the time was referred to as the Western Michigan University Divestment Coalition, I met for a number of weeks with select members of the President's cabinet, never the President himself, he was too busy flying, to discuss the university's lack of condemnation of Israeli occupation and genocide in Palestine and Western Michigan University's financial ties to Israel. Through that experience, I got to know all too well about the tendencies of inaction and so-called neutrality by this administration. The same inaction and neutrality that we now see bleeding into Western's response, or lack thereof, to the Trump administration's politically motivated attacks on international students' rights. To date, Western Michigan University has admitted that 6 international students have had their CVIS status terminated. Some of you may know that that number is already an increase from the first report of 4 students. Members of the Western Michigan University Solidarity Coalition have also heard details accounts that a student here described to us as a future graduate for 2025 and an employee at the Bronco Study Zone has been detained and is facing deportation, allegedly due to a minor traffic violation. At this time, the student's status is still currently unknown to their community, and Western Michigan University has only referenced the situation in official communications by saying, quote, "To our knowledge, no WMU student has been deported." As we continue to see an increase in hostility towards international students, documented or otherwise, it is critical that Western Michigan University, as a so-called access institution, whose increase in enrollment in the past year was majority based on international student enrollment, enact specific and sweeping policies to protect them. I will again echo demands that my comrades have previously spoken about. We demand that Western establish a legal support network to assist international students facing threats to and or termination of their CEVIS status and or their visa status. This should include legal challenges to the termination of student visas. Adopt and commit to an internal policy of noncompliance with ICE. This should extend to the Western Michigan Police Department. And guarantee academic continuity, i.e. the ability to continue coursework and to complete one's degree remotely. And when necessary, guarantee uninterrupted financial support and continued funding for students until the end of their contract or course of study. When I attended the Golden Bronco Awards to accept Best New RSO on behalf of the Students for Justice in Palestine, I listened to Dr. Diane Anderson give a speech about legacy. I am calling on you to reflect on what your silence and complacency means. Reflect on what legacy you are leaving behind by refusing to take a definitive stance against scholasticide and genocide, and reflect what legacy you are leaving behind by allowing ICE onto our campuses and into our classrooms, and what it means when you refuse to listen or provide material support for your students. I'm not thanking you.
Thank you, Avery. Next, Roland. Roland.
Hello. For those who don't know me, my name is Roland Bissonette. Hello to my community members, fellow Broncos, Chair Egerton, members of the board, Ed. I gotta say, I'm not just mad, I am also disappointed. The first time, thank you. The first time I spoke to this board, I stood alone. I was the only public comment that meeting, and I got up here and I feel very calmly and coolly articulated why what everyone up here today has been talking about is important, why it's something you guys should all care about and take action about. And I'm no longer standing alone, as you can see. The people who are still sitting alone are all of you, sitting up here like this is normal, like we're living through normal times, and you're sitting there with your little bowls of candy, and you're taking notes, and you're not doing anything. What are you writing down? Remember to not do anything? I am a Kalamazoo resident, a graduate of Kalamazoo Public Schools, a recipient of the Kalamazoo Promise. I graduated from this university with honors. Do you trust your university, the university you preside over? Do you trust that it educates its students well? I got my Global International Studies degree here, and I came before you and spoke and said that what is happening out in the world affects us here, and nothing was done. I got my philosophy minor here, and I am telling you that you have no moral high ground anymore. I'm telling you that in this instance, complacence is complicity, and still you sit there. Activists, students, are being taken and black-bagged and deported, and that's just the beginning. People up here have given you all these demands. I won't go into them. If you actually care about hearing them, you will hunt them down and you will find them. You will take action. But I gotta say, in your little speech about all the great Broncos, Ed, the best new RSO on campus is the Students for Justice in Palestine. Yeah, cheer for that. I don't know if that was an omission intentionally or an oversight, but it felt a little personal, and I just want to say that now it's bigger than just the Students for Justice in Palestine, because international students who might not have ever known about this or cared about this are at risk. And we want this to be a space where all may learn. Yes? All may learn. You can't promise this campus is a safe space if ICE is going to be on here abducting students, and that seems to be where we're headed. So please, show us the values that you purport to have. Show us the values of this university. Unless you're already showing us your values, in which case I can't say I love what I see. Thank you.
Next is Marissa. Marissa?
Good afternoon. My name is Marissa Wagner, as I'm sure you all know by now. I'm the president of WMU's Students for Justice in Palestine and a member of the Western Solidarity Coalition. 2.5 months ago, I stood in this room and presented a detailed proposal outlining tangible, actionable steps that WMU could take to protect our international students and faculty from the Trump administration's escalating attacks on immigrants and student activists. That proposal was grounded in policy research, current legal threats, and and the clear moral responsibility this institution holds as both an employer and an academic home to thousands of international students and faculty members. Since then, rather than taking even a single step of meaningful action, this administration immediately responded with the release of a so-called neutrality policy, a policy that appears carefully crafted to shield this administration from accountability and to distance itself from concerns raised by students and faculty the past 1.5 years. Let's be clear, what's happening to international students is not a broad societal concern. It's a direct, violent attack on their ability to learn, teach, and exist safely on this campus. And by your own standard outlined in that neutrality policy, this university is obligated to act. As of April 11th, over 500 international student visas have been revoked, with more than 70 of those being Michigan-based students. These students have been abducted off the street by masked agents in plain clothing, detained, interrogated, transported, abused, and threatened with deportation. These are not hypotheticals. This is happening right now as we speak. To reiterate my last statement to this board, WMU has seen a 25% decline in total enrollment since 2017. And yet, over that same period, international undergraduate enrollment rose by 28%, surging another 32% in the past year alone. These students pay higher tuition, face greater risks, and are disproportionately targeted by this administration's policies. Western actively recruits them, benefits from their full out-of-state tuition, and increasingly relies on them to offset domestic losses, yet offers no institutional protection when those students are targeted. We are not asking for performative statements or symbolic gestures. We are demanding a commitment to safety and academic freedom through legal support, rapid response, and non-compliance with federal targeting. If the President's cabinet and this board cannot find the courage to act, then I have to ask, why is it that students and faculty seem to be doing more to protect our peers at this university than those who are paid, promoted, and publicly trusted to do so? If you are unwilling to use your positions to safeguard the very people who make up this university, then perhaps you don't deserve to hold them. Thank you.
All right. Next is Sarah. Sarah? Okay, it would appear as though Sarah's not here, so our last speaker is Michelle.
Good afternoon, President Montgomery, Board of Trustees, students, staff, faculty. My name is Michelle Ringel. I'm a double alum of Western Michigan University in English education, currently pursuing a master's in fine arts in poetry. I have been a part-time instructor since 2002 and am currently a full-time academic staff serving in Merce Tate College. I am speaking today the words of my friend and colleague who did not feel safe to share her thoughts because of fear for retaliation on her family members. I will say that again. I am speaking the words of my friend and colleague who did not feel safe in this country to speak her opinion because of fear for her friends and family, for retaliation on her family. Last week, the WMU Essential Needs Food Pantry was renamed Montgomery Essential Needs. I hope there was a sizable donation involved, because otherwise, President Montgomery has ignored the essential needs of WMU's community. From refusals to bargain for living wages, to the refusal to protect all students' rights to an education, regardless of immigration status, the essential needs of those learning and working at Western have been ignored. On February 21st, we received an email from President Montgomery called Advancing Our Mission While Complying with State and Federal Law. Montgomery wrote, quote, "While our overall goal for each of our students are the same, we recognize the paths they might travel to reach those goals will differ. We embrace those differences so that all members of our community can be their authentic selves," end quote. For many of the members of our community now, the path they are traveling is one of fear. How can members of our community be their authentic selves when any misstep could mean an end to their visa, their right to work, their education? When they might be torn from this university they call home? In response to the recent termination of SEVIS status of 6 WMU students, communications from the university president stated, "We understand these developments are creating uncertainty and anxiety. To help members of our community cope through times of difficulty, WMU offers counseling support." While counseling is an important resource for our students, the more immediate option should always be to protect our students from harm. Counseling is not the answer to immediate and ongoing danger. Action is. I have very little power. My colleague and friend is a teaching assistant and a graduate student. I am looking now at the Board of Trustees, a board of people who have been entrusted with power. You have the power to affect and protect some 17,000 students. What do I ask of you, Board of Trustees? First, learn what you can do to resist.
Michelle, if you could conclude, please.
Yes, thank you. Ask yourselves, what have I done to protect a student today? What have I done to protect a student today? Thank you.
Chair Edgerton, that concludes public comment.
Thank you, Dr. Schumann. Before we close the board meeting today, I just want every speaker to know who has addressed this board and the body at all and their participation and everything that we hear you. We do hear you. I know we sit here sometimes and listen, but we do hear you. Speaking for every board member, we're confident that we have the same goals. Each of us at this table is deeply committed to protecting our students and advancing WMU's mission so that all may learn. And by all, we mean all. Western Michigan University will always be a place where everyone is welcome. We will uphold academic freedom, and we will respect the differences in viewpoints. Western will always be a place where students are taught not what to think, but how to think and take that information and turn it into knowledge. Knowledge becomes wisdom, and wisdom turns into action. Western Michigan University will always be a place where the well-being of our students is at the center of everything we do. Many of the values we hold dear, some of our bedrock principles, are under threat today. But that's not the first time our institution has faced these external pressures and challenges. It's far from it. WMU is more than 120 years old. We've weathered storms that could have brought us to our knees. How did this institution survive those periods? By staying true to our mission, holding fast to our values, by acting with humility and focusing on our students. How we respond to our current challenges will be deliberate, studied, and precise, because we know every move has its consequences. The stakes are incredibly high here. Thousands of students, thousands of employees, and our community are depending on us to get it right. We are committed to ensuring that students have a place to learn, faculty have a place to teach, pursue scholarship, that it will advance the frontiers of knowledge, and the university can continue serving its community in meaningful ways. These board meetings have a formality that may lead some to wonder or even question, are we moved as humans during these current situation? I can attest we're deeply committed and concerned about how our students and colleagues may be affected by the threats to higher education happening now. We share your concerns and your dedication to upholding this campus community ideas. Your voices are fueling our urgency to protect WMU family and our freedoms. We appreciate your passion, and please know it absolutely impacts us. We're working with the administration to ensure that all may learn, and will actively evaluate and potentially incorporate the appeals and ideas made today. As I close, I just want to be very clear. We're not going to back down or back away from our all may learn mission. It binds us together, even in these times of uncertainty, and history has shown it always will. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, support.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. This meeting is closed.